Dane, and today we'll be having a look at Aave. DeFi blue chip Aave mounts a 30% rise in price. The native token behind DeFi's popular money market Aave has risen more than 30% over the last 24 hours amid a flurry of new developments. New development is exactly what I want to go through because new development means that the platform is growing, the ecosystem is growing, and the numbers will grow. So before we continue, allow me to declare that this video is not financial advice. It's strictly for educational purposes and entertainment. Now right now it seems that the price is $228.36. So that's actually quite fantastic, and that's exactly why I'm interested in this crypto right now. So first we have to go through Aave itself. What exactly is Aave? Because it has a marketplace, and on its marketplace is various other cryptos. Now I've done a video on Aave before, but it's been a long time. Honestly, if anyone remembers me doing a video on Aave, you've been here a really long time, because Aave was one of my first videos on this channel. So it's kind of interesting that it's taken me this long to make another video on Aave. Honestly, I apologize. So what exactly is Aave for anyone who do not know what Aave is? I've got a really nice Decrypt article to explain everything to us. Aave is a decentralized lending protocol that lets users lend and borrow cryptocurrency without going to a centralized intermediary, like a bank or someone who would lend you a loan. So users would deposit digital assets into a liquidity pool, which becomes funds that the protocol can then lend out. How interesting, right? So Aave is a decentralized finance DeFi protocol that lets people lend and borrow cryptocurrency without having to go through intermediaries. So when they lend, they earn interest. When they borrow, they pay interest. And that sounds actually quite fair. So Aave is built on top of Ethereum network. All tokens on the network also use the Ethereum blockchain to process transactions. They are known as ERC20 tokens. Of course they are. So the protocol itself uses a decentralized autonomous organization. It's basically a group of individuals who help to maintain the blockchain, who help to build the blockchain, but they do not own the Aave blockchain. They're decentralized. So they only participate out of the good of the blockchain, but not out of ownership or not out of gains. So that means it operates and it governs by the people who hold and vote within the Aave token. So if you hold a substantial amount of the token, you can participate in that DAO. So before rebranding as Aave, the product was known as ETH Lend. Both were developed by a team led by Stani Kulikov. So it goes through on how lending works on Aave, and it goes through why would you want to borrow using cryptocurrency. So plenty of things. So if you'd want to learn more about Aave, I would definitely advise you to check out this article on Decrypt. It's really helpful. The interesting thing is that this was the same article I used almost a year ago exactly to make my first video on Aave. How interesting, how times have changed. So we're going to go through some of the blog updates about the Aave ecosystem. Obviously, there's rumors of heavy development on the Aave network, and that's what we want to understand. So let's go back to our Decrypt article. So Aave, the governance token underpinning the Aave protocol, has risen more than 30% last 24 hours. This puts a token price at $235.92 according to data pull from CoinMarketCap. This token, like many other in the world of DeFi finance, it's used to vote on updates of the protocol, participate in Aave's governance measures. So the latest price movement come in the wake of protocol's latest upgrades and ongoing interest from larger financial institutions. Launched on March 16, Aave v3 adds cross-chain compatibility, layer 2 scaling solutions, and reduce the gas costs of interacting with money market. So the Aave token was trading at roughly $121 at the time, basically marking the beginning of a continued uptrend. The price is still more than 66% away from its all-time high of $666.86, and that was set in May last year. How incredible, am I right? So anywhere else, Brazil banks have included Aave in its list of 8 other partners to build out its central bank digital currency, a central bank digital currency. Aave was joined by Centaya Brazil, Mercado Bitcoin, Visa de Brazil, Unibanco, and others. So naturally, we have to do our price analysis and price prediction. Like I said before, price is currently $226. This is always changing, so it is fluctuating quite heavily. What we want to understand is this rise in price recently. It's gone from $153 US to $226 US. But why? Now it's quite interesting because this token has a really low token supply. Only 13.6 million that are in circulating supply and only 16 million exactly that are in max supply. The 24 hours volume is up 100%. This puts it at 1.7, almost 1.8 billion US dollars in trading volume. Market cap is really high as well. That's risen 10%. So that's at 3 billion as we speak. 3 billion, almost 3.1 billion in fact. So we know that the price has risen quite highly. And at some points the tokens was as low as $118, even $114. So we know there's a strong resistance around $120 on average, at least. That's good. That's within the last month. But if we go back 3 months, what does it say? Well, the strong resistance is still there, around $116 US. And previous to that, there was a strong resistance around $133. If we can understand our points of resistance, we can understand the bottom of this token, how low or how much you could actually lose within investing in this token. Now, obviously, this is not financial advice. It will never be financial advice. But we need to understand this in order to understand. This token went from an initial price of $53 to as high as over $666 US. Now, there were some big things going on at the time. It was a crypto boom. This was last year. This was around May, in fact. So this was before the crypto market completely crashed in June and July. And as you can see, the price actually fell to $186. And what's absolutely incredible is that at the time in May, when the price was doing its best, trading volumes were around 2 billion. What's interesting is that the trading volume is around a similar place right now, almost 2 billion, almost 1.8 billion in fact. So at no other point were the trading volumes as high as it is right now, in the billions, by the way, almost 2 billion. If you look back with me, like I'm going through the history right now, at no other points did the trading volume hit even 1 billion, sometimes half a billion, but not even 1 billion. These were the rare occasions. First, it was in February last year, and next up, it was in May last year, and now it's in March this year. And obviously, April is just next month. April is just a few days away. Well, now that I understand where the strong resistance is, I can definitely expect this crypto to go as high as, say, $250 US, maybe even $300 US in the month of March. But we must discuss patterns. What are the patterns that are occurring? Is this crypto going up and dipping after each turn? When this crypto does go up in price, it usually stays there for a while before dipping. And once it do dip, it doesn't go as low as it once was. So essentially, the bottoms that we were finding, say like $120 for strong resistance. Basically what I'm saying is Aave isn't going to go back to $120 anytime soon. So that's just a quick prediction for the month of March. Don't expect Aave to go back to $120 in March, unless the crypto market completely breaks down. I can expect the price to go back to around, say, $200 flat, maybe $190 flat. But I also expect it to stay where it is right now for quite some time, for at least some weeks. And once it does fall down, I'm expecting it to also dip back up once again, because that's the patterns I've noticed. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Hope you've enjoyed this video. And also, if you want more information on this article, it's on Decrypt, so you can check it out for yourself. There's also some updates within the Aave network, and that's all available on the Aave blog. And basically, they're talking about what we already spoken about, which was Aave v3, live on the mainnet across 6 networks. But here's a quick summary. Aave v3 built upon the fundamental elements of Aave protocol: 8 tokens, instant liquidity, stable, with groundbreaking new features that span from increased capability efficiency to enhanced decentralization. And that's just great news for Aave overall. So no wonder why the price is going up. It makes more complete sense when you look at it from this perspective, when you look at it from what's been released in their blog. They don't have a lot of blog posts, so this is the one that definitely triggered a lot of movements in the ecosystem, which is really good to see. But what's really interesting is what's actually within this information. That's what's really triggered the market, is the development that's actually going on the Aave protocol. There are some great development that's going on. And if you read into them, you'll completely understand why people have started to invest it rapidly. The ecosystem expanding, it's growing. Interfaces, Zappa, DeFi Saver, Zerion, Instant DApp. They also supported on wallets such as Ledger, Coinbase, Pool Together, StakeDAO, Balance, Curve. Great list of things. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more, and I will see you in my next video.